what I found for most adults is they aren't comfortable owning their own space. So my goal is to allow them and give them permission. One, that violence is okay when you have to defend yourself. Mm-hmm. Number two is you own your space. You don't let people into that space unless you give them permission. And the funny part of that, Jamie, is in dealing with everything from healthcare providers, or excuse, we'll even go farther than that. We'll go from my awareness level training for defensive workshops and so forth, all the way through to my students, to healthcare professionals, to security professionals, to law enforcement that I've dealt with. Doesn't matter the job type. People don't have a comfort in managing their own personal space. So are you familiar? I'm sure you are because of your background, but the sociological model of the concentric rings for spatial relationships with your environment. Okay, so it's the outer ring are, this is for those that, if you had sociology, they bring these rings out and they say that the outside ring is the general public, people that you deal with on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. You don't know them. You don't know if they're a threat and so forth. And you normally keep those folks at a greater distance. The next ring are those people that you perhaps work with on a daily basis that you're familiar are, you'll say hi to, but you're still not comfortable saying, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee, right? Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Then we get into those friends circle that you are interacting with at a higher frequency, you go and do things with, you may go have lunch with. Then we have your family, and then you have your significant other ring. So when we talk about that, when we look, in sociology, they always use a test of one's bubble, right? So what they do is they'll have a perfect stranger walk up to another individual, and you tell that person, wait, that's close enough, I don't feel comfortable. And it's interesting how that varies with each person. Mm-hmm. But when you get to that critical bubble of where you're just not comfortable, people's eyeballs sweat and they get really nervous. Now, so to give you an example, my wife is not a hugger. She likes her personal space, and she also works in healthcare. Her coworkers love to crash her bubble every day, give her a hug and get in their personal space. And you can tell she's gotten better with it over time, but you can see the difference in just her general demeanor, right? But we take that model as we break down that barrier for most individuals, and we I teach them how to gauge that and use that spacing to help them manage their own space. Yeah. And then we take that same model, and now we take those original titles off and we add in your defensive tools, kicking range, punching range, grappling, elbow range, knee range, all those that would fit into those same categories for space. And I work with them to develop tools in their toolbox. Nice. To say, oh, here's where this is. Now if I need to, this is what I do. So we talk a lot about those types of things, but a lot of those people in general, law enforcement included, that are highly trained individuals that are, of all the people that I train, you look at those people, then what they carry on a daily basis, right? I would be nervous to have somebody encroach that space too, right? Mm-hmm. But because they have firearms and all that stuff that are on their belt. But in general, even if those things aren't present, they're not extremely comfortable with somebody within arm's reach. And so building that comfort level, all those things help develop their self-confidence. So when we talk about sparring and so forth, if you have somebody that's a very skilled person that's really good in sparring, and you get somebody that's just, this is really not their cup of tea, or they're not comfortable with using the tools that they already have, what you see is that person regress or become space. Right. Well, they become more fearful of, if I do this, I'm going to get hit. So our model that I use is different through the drills that we use in Silat and in Pentateuch and Kali and even Muay Thai to help build that confidence and that skill level to help them own their space. That's the goal.
That's really cool.